break every rule in this dumb code of conduct.
It is the Morning Mayhem on TransAfricaRadio.
Let's stick it to the man.
Some amazing tunes right here on TransAfricaRadio. It's the legendary BlackWhole, and this one, the track is called Let Them Go. 14 minutes past 10 o'clock Central African Time. It is the third and final hour of the show. And right about now, it is hashtag School of House. So blessing you with nothing but some of the dopest, of course, some of the hottest tunes that Africa has to offer, rather. I start out because in the studio, I've got BlackWhole, man. I've been listening to this guy ever since I was in primary school, you know? And this guy is out here in the building, and today I'm out here talking to him. Funny how things happen. And of course, UPZ is also out here in the studio. You know, I feel blessed, man. I really feel blessed right about that.
We're actually the same age, eh?
Is it?
When you were busy at school, we were busy doing something, hustling.
So clearly, you've been at the game for a very long time right now. Yeah. How are you doing, my sir?
I'm all right, man. How are you doing?
I'm great. It's good to see you, man. It's good to finally see you.
Nice to see somebody so happy in the morning.
I'm always happy. I'm always happy, man. I'm always happy. You know, for a very long time, I actually never knew the face of BlackWhole. You know, I knew BlackWhole as a music producer, but I never put the face to the work. You know what I mean? And for a very long time, I feel like probably our industry has actually been denying us that. You know, I don't know. But now, in terms of social media, it's actually quite easy in order for us to actually identify with the person. But back in the days, like there were no likes of the internet. Yeah, well, there was internet, but it wasn't really that popular. You know, but now people like you have actually been in the music industry for a very long time. You know, and probably you done so many tracks that some of the tracks that people don't even know about. How does that make you feel that you've actually been in the music for a very long time and people still can't identify the face with the music?
It's like, you know, that we've kind of changed the music in South Africa, but they say revolution will never be televised. It's like you know, sometimes you do feel like you've done so much, but it's not recognized for it.
Yeah.
But because you love it, you know, it's
you just
like
keep on doing it.
You keep doing it, and yeah. But you do feel, sometimes you do feel like, look,
but
people
it must
play
be
your music, but they don't really know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
because for a very long time, I never knew BlackWhole. It's not that I didn't want to know BlackWhole. It's just that I never knew BlackWhole. You know what I mean? Like, in terms of campaigns, maybe PR, whatever the case might be, like, that thing was actually not there. And it's quite sad. It's really quite sad.
We were not much of on your face kind of marketing kind of thing going on, or as artists. We always just like the work.
Yeah.
We like the art, you know, to come out nice, to come up, you know, that's what we like. We like that craft done, but also to challenge the other youth to say, look at us.
Yeah.
You know, we are BlackWhole and we're doing this, you know. So from there, a lot of guys started to go into production, say we can do this, we can do this. So that's why I say it was a revolution kind of. You know,
that was never televised.
Yeah, especially when we had songs and we take it to DJs and whatever, and they said, look, your music won't make it in South Africa. You understand?
Wow.
Then, you know, it did push. I mean, we were like, man, I was young at that age. I was like maybe 22, 23. Yeah, so I was in Joburg, no school. I had to do something. So I had to, what I believe in, let's push it. But it was a problem.
Of course.
South Africans were not receiving the kind of music we
were
you know, at that time. They were not, you know, we had to come with strategies around it to say, how can we make people listen to this music? Because if we don't do it right, they won't listen to it.
Definitely, for sure.
You know?
It's quite sad. It's quite sad. Also in the studio, we've got UPZ, man, one of my all-time favorite house music producers. This guy out here, Alvin. How you doing, myself?
Good. Thanks. Thanks for having me back.
Good to have you back again, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like, you know, we need to do this thing every now and again, you know? Just come here and, of course, just bless me with your present, dog, you know? Because I feel like when you're here, I'm always happy. Today, you actually bring me BlackWhole, you know? Thank you so much, man.
Thanks.
Otherwise, how have you actually been doing?
Yeah, also been good. I think since we last met, it was, I think, around May or something.
Yeah.
And back then I was working on the album, and now the album's ready and it's out. And I think that's one of the reasons we're here today. But,
of course.
Yeah, so it's great to have the album out, you know. Been 3 years in the making. Called Drop It. And nice to see it, you know, doing the rounds out there.
Yeah.
And it's a good experience.
And are you happy with the work that you've actually produced on this album?
Yeah, I think it's a nice body of work. There's 11 tracks on there, 10 new tracks and one remix of Pure Surprise. And I think it covers, it's mostly house music, with like different genres within a house music. Like there's Afro house in there, soulful house, There's new disco. There's a little bit of like electronic soul.
Yeah.
You know, the track with CO, for example, Dream Away. It's got that electronic soul kind of vibe.
There's another one that I actually love is Sangoma's theme and Say What You Want with Proverb and Mary Chan. I'm actually going to play Say What You Want in a few right now. I love that joint. I love that track, man. I love that track.
Nice.
The production that you actually have right now is actually quite interesting, but I mean, you know, and this new disco vibe, I gotta say, it's sounding really nice. I can say, and shout out to you for actually being the forefront and of course being the leader when it actually comes to such music out here in South Africa. 19 minutes past 10 o'clock Central African time. Hashtag School of House. UPZ is in the studio, and of course the BlackWhole +27 7925 4329 is the WhatsApp line in order for you to actually come through, and of course dial us up. Any questions you might have for the two gentlemen out here in the studio, please do not be afraid. Otherwise, we're going to be taking it back to the music in a few.
This is TransAfricaRadio.
UPZ featuring Mary Chan, and of course a proverb on this one. Number the track is called Say What You Want. If you're not feeling this track, hi there, now we are fine with you. You can go back to sleep, man. Beautiful music right here on hashtag Morning Mayhem. 23 minutes past 10 o'clock Central African time. It is the third and final loudest show, and of course in the studio we've got UPZ, and of course the medicine man who actually goes by the name of BlackWhole. Man, I've actually been a fan of BlackWhole, and I actually started being a fan after I actually had 1,000 seconds for the first time. And I actually had a next door neighbor, Butemba. You know, he actually went by the name of Butemba. And this guy actually used to play the song each and every single day on his car, in his house, each and every single. I didn't like the song at first because like he used to irritate me with the song, you know. And then I ended up loving the song, but it's like, you know what, this is actually a dope track, you know. But now, fams, the one thing that I actually want to understand from you is that who is BlackWhole? For a lot of people that actually don't know who BlackWhole is, you know. When did you start? Where do you come from? You know, where were you born? You know, like everything, the works. I just want a 411 of who BlackWhole is, brother man. After this interview, I just want to know who you are because I need to know who you are, man. I'm a fan. I'm a fan.
Today you're sitting with UPZ and BlackWhole.
Yeah.
But you're sitting with V and Mr. C. Otherwise, BlackWhole is a project, you know. Yeah. It started at the start. We were just an entertainment company, BlackWhole Entertainment.
Yeah.
So we're doing the events and all the parties around Braamfontein and all that stuff. Then later on, the music. Then we decided, look, the project is BlackWhole.
Okay.
So we like the same name to carry over, you know, whatever we do.
Yeah.
Whether doing the TV, it will be BlackWhole TV, everything, you know. So that was a concept for a project where I'm run the project.
Okay.
Then I work with different producers every single album or, you know, that comes out as BlackWhole. Yeah, so that's the same. It's a collaboration, but it's the brainchild. You know, I'm handling that. So people see me as the face of BlackWhole.
Okay, yeah. I was about to ask. Yeah.
You know, yeah, because also it's my company.
Oh, it's your company. So now, within BlackWhole, how many people are actually there within BlackWhole? You know,
as I say, we work different.
Okay.
You know, the first album, people, you know, they can say, oh, we remember, you know, the second album, we remember that guy or whatever. Yeah, like the first one, I have Mugrigo, I was working with, and the couple artists. But on the second one, I had introduced the other new guys. Like Aero Maniel.
Oh, okay.
You know, DJ Vini from Soweto, you know. So that was the ongoing thing. It was actually more of a platform for good young producers, you know, to come onto it.
Now, the idea of actually putting young producers in the industry, you know, what was the idea behind all of that? You know, were you just tired of the music that we were hearing in the industry back then, or you were just looking for something new within the entertainment industry?
I guess it's something inside you. I mean, I wanted to come to something different.
Okay.
You know, it's like you're fighting for that mark you can leave somewhere.
Sure,
you know, you understand? So you look and say, okay, this is what they're doing, and if I'm into this game, I'm not gonna be doing the same thing like this.
Okay.
I have to look and see how can I. It is, you know, we're doing the same house music, but how can I come around it? You understand?
Yeah.
But we're also trying to match the standard of where those days we call international house music. We're trying to match that standard. You know, like your UPZ, you do that good music we couldn't do here. You understand? It's like, why don't we have this? Why don't you have this? But as I say, it had no market, especially if they knew you were South African doing that.
Sure.
You know, it was tough. I mean, I say, they will tell you it won't make it. You know,
so they told you like 9-9.
It won't make it because, you know, South Africa likes
like
hectic stuff. We're like, okay, but we like the music. That was the thing. We like the music.
Sure.
We have to push the music because If people hear it, they will love it. So we created platforms how we can get it to the people.
Yeah. So now, in you creating actually platforms in order for you to actually get the music to the people, what are some of the challenges that you actually face? You know, because now certain radio stations actually told you like straight up that, you know, your music is not going to make it. So now, how are you actually making sure that maybe the music actually gets to the people without them actually listening to like on radio or actually hearing it on TV?
You know, the decision was like, since we love the music, that means there's somebody like me in the world.
Yeah.
You understand? So the strategy around it was like, those days we had vinyls and stuff. We considered, like, you know what? The person who plays the music at the clubs or radios and whatever is the DJ. And the DJ goes to a vinyl shop or record shop. He puts on his headphones on alone on the corner there. He makes a choice whether I buy this song or I don't buy. So we're like, you know what? That's the guy we fight for. Put it on the vinyl. Don't write South Africa. Just write BlackWhole. Don't write anything.
Because for a very long time, I don't want to lie, I never thought that BlackWhole was actually South African. I thought that guy was actually probably like international, you know?
That's how we branded. Because we knew we're not, if we say us here, they won't listen to us.
Wow.
So we had to do something.
Now, UPZ, you know, since you are also a house music producer, and of course you also came with your own flavor, you know, are you also on the same wavelength when it actually comes to the challenges that you also face when it actually comes to getting your music out there to the people?
I think I've been faced with different challenges. I don't know, because you see, like when specifically in the South African market, I didn't face maybe the same challenges that he did, because the breakthrough track that I did, Pure Surprise, even though it only got big in South Africa 2 years after I released it. Because I released it in 2007 and 2009 and blew up. But I think what happened in my case was just people just picked up on the track and really loved it. And I guess in the dance floor or wherever, people were reacting really good to it. So it just started, you know, getting, you know, DJs picked it up. People started enjoying it. And then 2 years later, I suddenly got like a couple of labels knocking on my door saying, listen, we want to license this track and put it out there on some big compilations coming up. So I thought, all right, great, you know. So I wasn't aware of what was going on down here. But then I started getting these, you know, messages on Facebook, emails, whatever. Listen, your track's blowing up. Oh, okay, great. You know. So my challenges are different, but we are like BlackWhole and myself. I can definitely understand what he's saying, because we are facing those challenges all the time, actually. You know, you all the time, even like if you're 10 years in the game, you still gotta, you know, some people say, oh, your new sound, we used to your old sound, why don't you do that? And then, but as artists, we always need to, I think, progress, you know. We can't just keep to the same sound. And I think also with BlackWhole's new track and in time with my, you know, with my new tracks, there's some new elements in there. And it might be a little bit different to what's out there, but I think, you know, we just have to do what we know what to do, and we can't just produce the same sounds we did 10 years ago, right?
Definitely.
Or 5 years ago. We need to progress.
Wow. Interesting conversations when you're here on TransAfricaRadio.mobi +27 7925 4329. Here's one of my ultimate favorite jams, BlackWhole, and this one, the track is called 1,000 Seconds. Time now is exactly 13 minutes past 10 o'clock Central African time. It is the morning mayhem with the kings of the morning, ready to make sure that the mornings are off to a great start. Thank you so much for tuning in, and of course for choosing your boy to actually keep you company between 8 and 11 a.m. CAT. Happy Friday.
This is TransAfrica Radio.
Past 10 o'clock Central African time. 1,000 Seconds, Mtaka P. What a smashing tune, man. Classic of a joint. If you're not feeling this track, then I don't know what's your problem, man. Kelly, you don't know house music. You're not loving this track? Come on, man. Come on, man. Come on. BlackWhole, come on, bro. Come on. Like, come on. Like, come on. Like this track, brother, man.
Like, I still haven't introduced myself to people.
Man, come on, bro. Come on, bro. Come on, bro. This track. Come on, brother, man. Come on, brother, man. This track is too nice, Joe.
It sounds nice on the speakers.
Where doesn't it sound nice?
It sounds nice.
What do you mean it sounds nice on the speaker? It's a nice track, though.
Sometimes you sit and you listen to past tracks and stuff, and you're like, this song sounds... You know, I can go back and re-release the songs, you know, because they never got the chance, you know.
Man,
you know what happened? I was telling Avi, it's like South African market. What happened with 1,000 Seconds is we were doing a couple of songs coming on compilation, all the big DJs were licensing tracks. But when 1,000 Seconds, after it was on a vinyl, maybe about 6 months later, that's when it caught fire.
The attention.
Everybody started to play Wanting Ears, we had to repress and
Sure.
whatever. You know, the people stuck to that sound. Even moving away from
That sound.
to do another album, we
Yeah.
couldn't. I mean, if you get the Black Hole on another level album, I still say it, and people will say it. The whole album is nice.
Yeah.
You know, it was different, but only one singer was pushed, and when you try to push the other one, they don't actually. The people it's like they close their ears to
Yeah.
this day.
Yeah.
They still want Black Hole to do the same thing.
But now it
You
can't.
understand?
It can't happen
It
the
can't
same
happen.
way.
It can't happen. You can't do the same things every. You know, you got it. Now move on. You wanna grow also.
As UPZ was actually saying earlier on, it's like you can't be producing the same stuff you were actually producing 5 years ago.
But
You
I
understand?
tell you,
Yeah?
that's what goes on. You'll hear big producers or DJs say,
Uh-huh.
"Hey man, if you bite here and it's nice, you bite again." To me, that doesn't make the sense. You know.
So now, when a DJ actually comes to you and says that, do you respect them as an artist?
It's their own way of doing things, but I have a problem because it's like you're keeping our people because you might sit on a higher ground than me, so you keep our people not informed by giving them the same sound. They just change the same sound. Do you understand?
Yeah.
But to us, as I say, it was a challenge to challenge the next person. We're like, you know what? If we do this album, we can do another album that's different,
Sure.
totally different. And if you get unidentified level, it's different. You know, it's different from the first. You understand? It was, but that's what you're trying to get out.
Yeah.
You can't keep doing same
Thing
and
over and over again.
The public might want the same thing,
Sure.
listeners.
Sure.
But for the artist, you want to express yourself,
Of course.
differently every
Of course,
time.
of course,
You-
of course.
You understand?
Of course, let me jump on UPZ right now. UPZ, on the brand new album, you've got a new disco, you know, and which is actually a new flavor of sound out here in South Africa. You know, we are used to your soulful sounds, pure surprise, you know. Now, was the expectation the same as Black Coffee, whereby people expected you to be producing like soulful sounds each and every time?
Yeah, sometimes there is that expectation, but I think I've been people know for like people who really know me know for a while that I've been experimenting with Afro house and Latin house. It's not only soulful
Sure,
stuff. So, and new disco is not too far off from soulful house. You know,
Yeah.
it's just a little bit different.
Yeah.
So for me, it's one direction to head in. I mean,
Yeah.
I can head in other directions too. Funnily enough, even the soulful house sound, the classic soulful house sound,
Yeah.
I've tried to update it. Like if you take a track like Disco Girl or Sangoma's theme,
Yeah.
it's not the same soulful house that I was doing 5 years ago. It's different to Pure Surprise or All Out with Jocelyn Matthew. It's a little bit more modern in its production approach.
Okay, cool. Now, I want to understand something from the two gentlemen of you. Yeah. So now, when you are probably like in with a new sound, like 1,000 Seconds, we were talking off air that this track was probably like ahead of its time, you know. And even with new disco, right now, a lot of people are still asleep on that genre. Now, do you deem yourselves as like forefronters when it actually comes to house music production or music production? Let me just not say house music production. You know, do you deem yourself as, you know what, the slayers of the game? But now the sad thing is that the slayers in the game are one of the people that are actually not really recognized. You know, how does that make you feel?
I don't say anything about myself. We did what we loved and people loved it. The people say it. The people will say Black Hole is legend or
Sure.
legendary return of Black Hole or whatever they will say. You know,
Yeah.
we grew up listening to this. It's timeless. So that's the people. They loved it, but it's mainly because it came from the heart.
Yeah.
It was that the hustle came from the heart. It was nothing about anything else.
Being
It
a
was about
forefronter.
saying this is what we like to do and we'll do it. You know.
Okay,
you
cool.
know.
UPZ?
I don't know if I'm in the forefront of production, but I do definitely try experiment and I tap into other fields. Whereas I see some producers around me kind of always sticking to the same kind of.
Yeah.
I'm very open-minded in terms of like tapping into new sounds. And even like if you take a track like Drop It, it's like starts off with a typical Afro house thing and then it goes into this halftime Jamaican dub thing.
This
and then
is
back into
TransAfrica
house.
Radio.
So that's a nice example where I try something new. Also lyrically, I'm also like, I'm kind of like a little bit tired of the the typical like love lyrics relationship.
Yeah.
So on this album, we explored a lot of like lyrics relating to social commentary.
Okay,
Tracks like Drop It,
Yeah.
Sangoma's theme, A Dream Away, beautiful track written by, actually lyrics were written by CO, and we talked about let's do something which is a little bit like a something to do with social commentary,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
like, you know, as to what's going on in today's society and things like that. So yeah, I try to do something a bit different. Hopefully people will like and connect to it, you know.
Definitely, for sure. I feel like that's exactly what we need in today's industry, because now, whether we like it or not, I feel like we are being fed the same things over and over again. You know, I'm not doing shade. I'm really not doing shade. But now, you listen to the new wave right now, which is actually called Qom. You know, now when you actually take that and take the drum kits, it's pretty much the same thing. You know what I mean? For me, yeah, it's actually a new wave. It's really good. It's really sounding nice. A lot of people are jumping on it. But now, I feel like, is it going to be sustainable in the next 10 to 15 years down the line? That is my question.
You know what's funny with that style was like when I was here in 2009, we did live amp with BlackWhole.
Yeah.
And what's his name? Were there? Big Nas were there, right?
Yeah, Big
and they
Nas.
were doing that style in 2009.
Yeah.
That style was there in 2000. It's funny that only now, like they gave it a name. It was called something else back then.
Yeah.
It was called like the Durban sound or something.
Yeah.
I think it went more harder now.
Yeah.
It's gone a bit harder.
Yeah.
It went more harder. I think you like
More drums.
You go into trance, like your trance music.
More drums.
Yeah,
in
yeah,
the club. It's a clap kind of thing.
But
Yeah.
it was clap kind of thing back then.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
I'm wrong. Maybe
no,
I'm
but
just
now
not
it's more
remembering.
harder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And those guys that will sing throughout. Now it's more sampling of vocals and all over. But,
Yeah.
but look, there will be changes, you know.
Each and
people-
every time.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
also come up with it's the producers. They try something new. It works with the crowd.
Yeah.
It works. It blew up. I think you're gonna get a lot of producers doing that now.
Sure.
You know,
But
because people go with the wave. Some
Yeah.
people go with the wave. And
Yeah.
there's people who wanna pave their own way.
Yeah.
But most people will follow. Just for it. So that's what we have. We have people who follow. There's people who say, you know what, I'll fight for my way. You understand?
So now, when it actually comes to house music production, are there any particular people that you actually always listen to and you're like, these people, I feel like they're not given the right platform in order for them to actually shine? You know, do you actually have those artists that you have in mind? You know what, this guy's really good, but he's not really shining that much. Do you have those artists?
Look, man, there's a lot. I mean, in the past, there used to be a lot of guys who come in, but we couldn't help them.
Yeah.
You understand? They will have your Chama music, we have your trans mix. So there's a lot of guys who come in our studio, but you're like, you know what? I can't sign these guys.
Yeah.
Guys, we don't have the funds, we don't have
The resources.
resources to push your music.
Yeah.
It's gonna end up in the bin. You know, just go out and look for other, you know, how you can push your music. They're good guys. Even now, I mean,
Chama Music is doing a great
Moby
job.
Deep Sense, you know what? They've all been there.
Yeah.
Coming, need some help there, you know.
Yeah.
But you know, we're happy for them now. At least
Something's happening for them, you know?
It happened, you know. I mean, we used to sit with the soil, something Soweto.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
used to spend time.
Back in the days.
Got tracks with him,
Yeah.
you know. But only nice, you know, they're catching up to what he's doing. He's been, you know, he's always been good. You understand?
It's only now that it's finding-
you know, there's a lot of artists. We just need, I can say, we just need radios also that can play the music for
the people?
this,
Sure.
for the people, and even writers, journalists, whatever. They shouldn't just go on the surface. They must go deep.
Sure.
You know, because I feel every time you do an article with a journalist or whoever, they don't actually know who you are.
Yeah.
They don't research anything about you. Even interviews with DJs, they don't.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just people in positions, but they don't really like what they're doing. Now I have a problem with that. Yeah, I've got a problem with that. If you're doing a job and you don't like it, why
Sure.
are you doing it? Come on,
Yeah.
stop doing that. That's the problem that brings everything down. It's because people are in the positions that they're not supposed to be there because they don't like you. You understand?
Yeah.
So we always done things with the love.
Yeah.
I chill or go with UPZ everywhere, but we know we have certain things in common.
Yeah.
You know, we don't have to, but we have certain beliefs. We have, you understand? That's why we can do certain things together. Yeah, so we need that in our industry. We need researchers. We need, if you're gonna write about
Yeah.
me,
Yeah.
you need to be loving house music.
Definitely, for sure.
And get rid of the compilers who are DJs in radio. You know, that messes the whole thing.
Yeah.
That's when everything just keep changing.
You know,
Come on.
You know, from this conversation, I'm sorry, probably if I'm gonna step in, I'm probably gonna, you know, bumping your toes. But I feel like you just have a lot of things that you've actually been holding down for a very long time. And you just wanted to say them, you know? And I feel like you need the platform in order for you to actually say that, you know? And right now, I actually want to give you the platform, you know? If there are things that you actually want to say, say them now.
Look, man,
Don't be afraid.
I feel we did
Yeah.
what we could do, and we did what we loved, and people loved it.
Sure.
Oh, you understand? And that's why I can say sometimes I feel old, because it's like a lot of people have passed through my hands.
Yeah.
Where I had to advise.
Sure.
I had to grow at a young age. You understand?
You started this when you were 22, I mean, you know?
At a young age, I was running around. I mean, I was running my label. You would think there's 10 people working my label, but you find I'm the only one sitting there
Doing the work.
working the whole day. You understand, to push what I believe
Yeah.
in. And now I feel, that's why I said, you end up feeling like you're not
Appreciated.
You do feel that way, but it doesn't really matter, because you were not doing it for that reason. But I think we need more in our industry, and we need people to love what they do more.
Okay.
It will help.
Definitely. For sure.
They will write about somebody in Pretoria if they write articles.
Yeah.
But because they're waiting for radio to play something, then they wanna come and write because now it's a big song.
Now, UPZ, are you also sharing the same sentiments as BlackWhole? You know, because BlackWhole has actually been in the music industry for a very long time, and right now he feels like the industry is just not doing much in order with pushing what's really good out there. You know, we like, if you listen to radio stations, like I'm sorry to say, but I'm bashing a lot of stations, you know, because I feel like we are being fed the same things over and over and over again. It's the same artist over and over and over again. You know what I'm saying? So there's no change within the industry, and even in the music that they play, there's no change. And what do you feel could be some of the changes that actually need to be done in order for the young talent, in order to also be out there?
Changes that need to be done. Maybe more open-mindedness from music compilers, because they're obviously an important element in terms of radio to get it out there. So that's like important, and also maybe within radio itself to maybe give the presenters some freedom of choice when it comes to what tracks, because some radio stations have got set playlists and presenters have no say in what they can put in.
Sure.
Some radio stations are very tough with that. So I think maybe some change within the radio industry. But then again, in today's day and age, we've got a lot of alternatives to conventional radio. We've got obviously internet radio. And we've got now, it hasn't really reached South Africa, but what's really big overseas is Spotify lists. People compiling lists and people following those lists, and there's blogs, music blogs. So there's alternatives to explore, not just conventional radio. And what else can be done? I guess hopefully DJs will also, they're important still, because they a lot of them are tastemakers, But sometimes there is a little bit of conflict of interest in terms of certain, DJs or whatever doing, certain shows, and then each one pushes their own label or whatever, and then so that's a little bit of a challenge, but we can overcome any challenge, I guess. If the music's good, you can overcome any challenge. If that radio won't play you or whatever, that's but the DJs like it, then they'll play you. So I think the most important thing is just to continue making good music and worry less about the politics behind it or the marketing, or I mean, obviously it's important, the marketing and all that, but just first priority, make a good song.
Okay. Quite interesting. 15 minutes past 10 o'clock Central African time. Right about now, I'm about to bless you with a brand new track brought to you by BlackWhole, Team Up with Obisana, and of course the UPZ. Number the track is called The End Time. 15 minutes past 10 o'clock Central African time. It is the third and final hour of the show. We're only just left with 10 minutes, but I feel like we just needed more and more time, man. BlackWhole is in the studio, and of course the UPZ. Some brand new music right here on hashtag Morning Mayhem, coming up immediately after.
This is TransAfricaRadio.
Some brand new music right here on TransAfriCaRadio.mobi, hashtag Morning Mayhem, hashtag School of House, with the legendary DJs out here in the studio, UPZ, Alvin Alman, and of course Mr. BlackWhole. Man, these guys have actually been in the music industry for a very long time. You better put some respect on the names, man. BlackWhole and this one, Team Up with Obisana, and of course the UPZ. Number the track is called The End Time. What a beautiful track, yo. Beautiful track.
Nice.
Beautiful track, I love that Afro, influence to it, and I just want to know.
That's actually more of what's happening now, also, I mean, as we said, we have the problem of people keeping up to like the black hole. Like,
Sure,
I've seen
sure.
comments and saying, yeah, it's very nice, but you guys left
They still want you to sound the same as you were sounding 10 years ago.
You understand.
Of which can happen. You mature as a
but-
person, you know?
But also coming back, the thinking around it was like, okay, let's keep the that kind of a tag to it or whatever, and have some afro to it for the dance floors, and the voice gelled very nice
Yeah.
with the whole thing.
So who is Obisana?
It is
Obi Sana is a conceptual artist
Okay.
and poet.
Okay. Oh, it's a concept.
It's a conceptual artist and poet.
Okay.
Yeah.
we you can see we work on a lot of things.
Is a
We just-
conceptual-
We just
yeah.
come with things.
Yeah. And we might hear more from Obi Sana in the future.
Okay.
He's keeping a low profile for now.
This is actually quite interesting. This is really interesting. Because I know the two of you guys, But I think I understand the idea of a conceptual.
It's always we have some
conceptual.
hidden things.
Yeah.
Back there.
Oh, so there's a lot of things that are
Always a
happening
lot
in the
of things.
background,
People don't get it. Like, are you black hole or Mr. C? Are you? Because
What's going
you don't
on?
say-
What's going on?
so
Yeah.
You don't give the whole thing.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
must keep looking.
Yeah.
You look, but
You
no,
just want to remain, like.
some people don't look. They don't want to look. That's why they end up not knowing what's going on.
Okay, quite interesting, I gotta say. And of course, this track is actually included in the Drop It album, which is actually a brand new album, I can't wait to actually go home and actually have a listen to this. Please tell us about the album, Dad,
Yeah. So it's available. I mean, it's 11 tracks, as I said earlier. Soulful house, Afro house, all of them vocal house. It's available on all digital platforms, whether it's iTunes, Traxsource, Beatport, Juno,
Sure.
etc. Selected copies available in our gigs. So I guess you need to follow us to see where we are, because we're about to go on a tour. We started at BlackWhole Lounge.
Yeah,
We did something 2 weeks back, and we got something tomorrow by the Val with a community radio station that side.
Yeah.
And we putting the tour together. You should just follow us on social media, and wherever we tour, we'll have also physical copies of the
Sure,
album available. But otherwise, it's digital for now.
Okay, quite interesting, I gotta say, man. I can't wait to actually go home and, of course, listen to the album. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for coming through. I wish we had more time, I feel like there's a lot of issues that we actually need to talk about, and I feel like there's a lot of things that we need to get out of BlackWhole, because I feel like he's holding back. Oh, not even holding back, but a whole lot of things to actually say.
Like
But
too many things. Man.
too many things to say,
many
Too many
things.
things. I feel like we need to set up another appointment, brother man. What do you say?
Yeah, man. Too many. We can talk deep things.
Yeah, yeah.
Real things.
Yeah. Can we do that?
We don't hide.
Can we do that?
We tell it like it is.
Can we do that?
We can do that.
Please, dog. I feel like we owe the listeners that. You know? I feel like we owe the listeners
Yeah.
that. We didn't have a chance for questions from the listeners, because that's how intriguing the conversation was, right
Yeah,
here
you
on the
understand?
Morning Mayhem.
I mean, a lot of producers were looking up to be checking our stuff all the time. I mean, you'll sit at the vinyl shop and a young guy from school with a uniform says, I want to buy a vinyl. They say, here's a black hole. He doesn't even listen to it. It's like, it's black hole. Give it to me. He goes. It's like they believed in the product, But what's more of it, that movement, they believed in the movement.
In the movement more than anything,
It kind of not even belong to me.
Yeah. So now, where is the movement going? Like, what's happening next for BlackWhole? That's exactly what I want to find out.
That's what we're doing now. We're trying to let's come back.
Yeah.
And see. But let's not rush into it.
Sure.
Because we're busy with other things and whatever. So I'm trying to let me, but we
Steady
kept
progress.
But we kept the name alive.
Yeah.
That's why I opened the club in Mamelodi, was to keep the name alive.
Sure.
Like, this brand is mine, man. It's been pushed so long. So let me keep it somewhere alive until otherwise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, thank you so much, gentlemen, for coming through. It's actually been an honor. Thank you so much. I wish I could ask you more questions, but yeah, man, I just have a lot of questions in my mind, but sadly, there's no time. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thanks, man.
Otherwise, where can people actually follow you on social media? Let's say UPZ.
It's UPZ_so what on Twitter, UPZ_so what on Instagram, Facebook. Just look for UPZ. And also, what else? SoundCloud, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm also on SoundCloud.
Yeah.
UPZ or Avi Elman.
Yeah. Mr. BlackWhole?
Mr. C BlackWhole. Mr. C BlackWhole. On your Twitter and your Instagram, I just have the BlackWhole.
You're not really about Instagram, This guy, you're so old school, man.
Hey, man, I'm sitting with, I fight with him all the time. Look, I post things, but
Yeah.
I don't understand what I'm posting. What is this thing? But I'll just post. He tells me you must do this.
Yeah.
I can't hashtag people.
Otherwise, for me, Thabang Mashile, it's also a wrap. Thank you so much for coming through and, of course, joining me between 8 and, of course, 11 a.m. CAT. I'm going to be back on your radio next week, Monday, right here on TransAfriCARadio. I'm about to leave you with a beautiful track, Pure Surprise by UPZ. And, of course, this one is actually the Sunrise mix, sounding very, very nice.
This is TransAfrica Radio.